Hello, in this video we'll be covering the XML file destination. The XML file destination is a destination, or it's a writer of records coming from a data source somewhere. It could be coming from a previous transformation, or in this case coming directly from the data source. The way it works is for every record that we're getting in the preview, or actually from the data source, as I'm previewing here, you will write a record into the XML file. Now, the concept of a record is very different than a typical flat file. So, in a typical flat file, I will have one line for every single record that I'm getting from my source. In the case of an XML file, the record definition is very different. So you'll have one node written, and that node varies depending on how you've mapped it. So for example, if I preview the source here, you see I got one line for every single order item. Now there's no preview in the XML file, so we'll have to actually just go ahead and run this to actually see the data that we're producing. Let me go ahead and pin this here. And if we see the data, you can see that I have one node. In this case, the node is sales order for every single order item, and I've inserted an order item into that node. Now, the structure of the XML file is determined by the schema specified to the XML destination. So much like the source, you will control this tree through the schema. And here you can see that the tree is an actual tree where you have not just a root node followed by a bunch of elements. In this case, we have the root node followed by subnodes followed by elements under those. And depending on how your schema is structured, you will get different types of nodes. So for example, in this structure, we have the sales order, and underneath sales order, we have some elements, but underneath that, we have another referenced object called line items, and under that, a collection of objects of order items, and then the attributes of the order items. And you can see here that for the sales order, we have this little icon that looks like four boxes four squares, or four boxes in a square. This indicates that it's a collection node, meaning that this node can repeat. If you did not have this collection node and it looked just like this with a shortcut, that means that this node could only appear once in the XML file. So depending on where you map it, you'll get the different results depending on the anchor. So in this case, the anchor is just the collection of records, or the driver for every single record we're going to create, in this case, an order item, and we're going to surround it all the way up in sales order. But you may want something else if you're looking to control basically have multiple collections within an XML file. And this is typical usage of, let's say, if you're coming from multiple database tables, you can do that as well. So, for example, let's go take a look at an example where we do need to create multiple sales orders and multiple order items in the line item reference node here. So to do that, we're going to take two source tables, and we're going to make use of another transformation called the tree join. Now, I mentioned the tree join because it's heavily tied to the XML destination. Without the tree join, you'll at most be able to create XML that looks like this, a relatively flat XML with only one collection in it. So here you can see that we're only repeating the sales order items and not any other collection. So to create multiple levels of collections, you'll need to use the tree join transformation. So in this case, I'm joining the order and the order item and building another tree. So here you can see that I have three orders. Let me go ahead and preview here. I have three orders in my collection for the orders, and I have three order items, and these are also related. Here you can see that I have orders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and found in orders 1, 2, and 3. So these form a hierarchical data set, and them two together. To actually create that hierarchical data set as one data set, use the tree join, and this will give me my new data set with the order followed by the order item underneath it. So now that I have my data in this hierarchical data set, I can then go ahead and map to my XML destination file. In this case, I'm going to map to sales order. Okay, and then order item to order item. And let's go ahead and map also, I think. What else is in here? Description. There we go. Okay, and I have order ID and order item ID. I need that. Okay, now that I have this mapping, if I go ahead and run this data flow, so now if I look at the data, you can see that we have the sales order and we have the order item related to that sales order. Here you can see the order ID and the order ID. So in this case, I was able to build an XML structure with multiple collections in it. So that's how you would do that with Centerprise. When you're writing to multi-level collections in an XML file, you're going to want to use the tree join. And if you needed to join this tree with another tree, you can do a tree join on another tree join on another tree join, and then keep building your hierarchical structure until finally you can map to this XML file. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the simple example here and show you from scratch how to create this XML destination. So I'm going to delete it. Go to the toolbox, look under the destination section in the toolbox, drag and drop the XML file destination onto the diagram, open it. In this case, you can't open it yet until you specify the properties. You can double click or right click and select properties, and this will bring open the file editor dialog. And this has the properties for the XML file destination. So the first thing I want to do is specify the file path, and then I can type the file path here or click on the file that I want to write to, or I can type it in there. In this case, it's going to ask me to overwrite. I'm going to say yes. Next, I can choose the encoding. We have a whole lot of encoding in Centerprise that you can choose from, including ASCII, UTF, Unicode. In this case, I'm going to use the default UTF-8, which should suffice for most cases. Then you have the option to format the XML output. If you do not choose this option, you will write the XML pretty much on just one line. It's not going to format it for you. But if you want to make it look nice, as we've done here, all indented and everything, you can choose the format XML option. Now the important part of this screen is the schema. So this is where it's going to build the layout or read the layout from. Now if you have an existing file, you can go ahead and select generate, but in most cases, since you're writing to a new file or you're writing to a file, you already have the schema in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and search for my schema and look under XML destination here. And I'm going to use my schema that I've specified earlier, I've retrieved from some other source. And then I'm going to pick the root element of the schema. In some schemas, you may have multiple possible root elements. So since we're only writing one file, XML file, we need to specify what root we want to write. So in this case, I'm going to specify sales order as my root. If I click on next, I can see a preview of what my layout will look like, including the collection of sales orders, a reference in the line items node, and the order items collection. If I click that, I will see that tree in the box, and I can expand the tree so that I can map to it. So at this point, I can map my records to any where in the tree here. So depending on where I map, that is going to be the repeating node of the XML destination. In this case, I'm going to write to the map to the order items, but I could also, for example, write to the node above it. And what that means is that since this is a record, that the record starts here. And that is the record that will be produced, or the node that will be written into the XML file. And that's pretty much it for the XML file destination. Thank you.